Call the meeting to order. Do we have any citizens input?
This isn't the time yet.
Nope. Okay. Any delegations?
This isn't the time yet either, girls.
No. Any questions, additions, or deletions for the agenda? No. I had a motion to approve the agenda in a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Last month's minutes.
Wow. There it is. Yes, it was a long agenda.
Anybody have any questions? Anything we talked about? I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from February. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Financial reports.
You think we had dial-up? Huh. I've never seen it take this long to open.
Steve, is that a copy?
I had my phone earlier. It was.
Is that an extra?
I can't see it very well, but it was up.
Rather than just sit and wait for it to spin, the next action items had to do with Cadwell, and I don't see a representative here from the Exchange Club at the moment. So I could suggest that we move on to A, either the Tennis Association agreement, or B, the group that's waiting behind me patiently, because I don't have to pull up some information for them.
That'd be perfect. Let's move to 11 and go with the approve the Girl Scout troop proposal for the dog park. Come on up.
Good afternoon. My name is Lauren, and we're Girl Scouts.
You're doing great. Just continue to tell us a little bit about it.
Okay. If it's their turn on the paper to have, or just.
It's okay to have Jarek up there
It's
with
okay.
you.
Okay.
You can tip the mic down just a bit for her.
We are so excited to be here to show you all of our hard work and dedication to our hometown and to Girl Scouts. We have made a prototype to kind of show what we would like to put up. It's not exactly like what we had in mind, but we are still learning the way to build it. So it has still been an amazing experience. Some examples are how to make it last in the weather was a big challenge. We have also learned how to budget for this project, work as a team better, and hopefully make the dog park safe for all people and dogs.
Oh, say your name.
My name's Kinley. In our first aid kit, we will have band-aids, ace bandage wraps, and so much more. As a Girl Scout, one of our badges was to create and innovate. This is what started our whole journey.
Avery. Say your name.
I'm Avery. Us girls are really passionate about this project because we all love animals very much and know how accidents can happen, whether it's a scratch or someone fell. We hope that we can provide some first aid stuff to help. We have also been thinking about if a dog jumped and landed on a stick, how could we help them out too? We know that band-aids won't stick to fur, but figured an elastic wrap like ace bandage wraps would maybe help until they can go to the vet.
Sorry. Say your name.
Hi, I'm Missouri. We would like to also add some leashes and hooks and some small bins for them to have balls and other toys in. One of our Girl Scout laws is to make the world a better place, and we know that with this first aid house, it is going to make the dog park a better, safer place.
Thank you for listening to us. We love to answer any questions.
Show them our dogs. Show them the dog parks.
So we should turn it around to face them and the camera.
Yep, you guys aren't really gonna be able to see. Okay, Missouri or
So is this the actual size? So can somebody explain a little bit more about that?
Oakland, you can.
Maybe the microphone?
So on the other side where the dots are, that's where I think we're gonna have the leashes. If we can. And there's like this little doorknob that you can open up, and then inside there's like a first aid kit in case if anybody gets hurt.
Okay, so while the girls are doing that, I am Jerica. I am a co-leader of this project, and April is right there, and she is our actual troop leader. We use all of the wood that we have right there, like recycled wood, so it's kind of why it doesn't look like 100% the best, because with Girl Scouts, using our resources wisely is using recycled stuff. So for our actual project, we plan on actually buying wood and everything like that, but for this one, and it's bigger because we are also learning how to make the structure. What one of you girls would like to tell them about what we learned with the inside of the structure of that? You can go for it.
Yep, but come talk to us at the
Right.
microphone.
First thing for the inside, we always need a base and a door hinge to, if there was no door, then the dogs will get into the stuff, like the first aid kit.
You can't? Okay. Do you want to talk about the base and how we learned how to build that? Okay. Go for it. Any of you girls that would like to, go for it. This is your first time public
Doing
speaking.
great.
We
Amazing.
did the like a structure to hold it up and then put some wood things
Wood glue.
with glue and then put the plate staples and the plates of wood on, and then we put the hinge that's on it, door hinge on it too, and then we used a wood plate for the door, and then we have the window that is plexiglass.
And that was also donated, so it's not exactly the right size. But again, it's using the resources wisely, just in case it didn't get approved. Who would like to tell them about our first aid kit? And you guys can talk to them about Tuesday what we learned. Both of you guys can, but introduce yourself, please.
You go first. Okay. My name is Oakley, and this is a case of bandages,
It has dogs on it.
and this is like the wrap.
The
That-
ace bandage wrap.
Yeah. So like if you have like a big cut, you could like wrap it around.
We also have gloves in case someone really needs gloves to clean up any mess that they have on their body.
And I think this is
So is this to work with first aid for both people and dogs? Glad to hear it.
we also have hot and cold packs just in case if anybody needs it.
We also have gauze pads.
I'm not helping Bill. Is that okay? Okay, so we had a first aid person come from the fire department. Oh, I'm Jerica, sorry. We had a first aid person come from the fire department who gave us some pointers on what would be the best thing for dogs and animals at the first aid, for our first aid stuff. They suggested stuff like these gauze pads that are just the non-stick ones or whatever, because they said that if we use these on dogs and or people, it helps keep the stuff out, and then we could just use an ace bandage to wrap it up. We did do band-aids though for people. She did say that Neosporin and all of that, due to the different temperatures, that probably wouldn't be the best, so we don't plan on having that in there, or hydrogen peroxide. Tweezers,
Just in case if there's like any splinters
Yeah.
from the wood.
And then why
Or
did
on
we
the
say
dog.
what did we say do an ice pack? Why did we say we were gonna do ice packs? Whoever wants to answer, go to the podium. Why are we gonna do ice packs?
We did ice packs because if anybody's like really hot, then they could have the ice pack during like a really hot day.
And if they sprain an ankle.
Yeah. And if they sprain an ankle and get hurt somehow like that.
That's what she said. It's just cold packs. What? We're not doing hot packs. She said just cold. We can talk about that too. You guys talk about whatever you'd like. It's okay. Just introduce yourself, and you know this is your first time up here, and they understand it. It's okay, girls.
If you run out of things to say, these four are going to ask you questions just to make certain that they have all the information that they want, because they have to make a decision.
Okay. Do you guys have anything else you want to add, girls, or are you ready to answer questions?
We're ready to answer questions.
Okay.
You need something inside. I see some kind of color inside.
That's
Just the wood.
reused wood, so it's
Recycled wood.
But it was like a painting or something like that. So I'm like,
What's the I can't remember what's the trash situation out there?
There
as
are
far
quite
as
a few
receptac-
garbage cans on site. Their intent is to put one of these on each side of the dog park, on the small side and the large side, I believe. So there'd be a place to put Band-Aid wrappers or things like that, as far as the trash receptacles are right by the entrance when you walk in.
They'll be mounted on a pole or something.
The intention sounds like that we're gonna try to place them on the fence, on the top rail of the fence.
And if you guys were not okay with that, then if you guys are okay with us doing our own pole, we would do that. But if you guys are okay with us it's obviously gonna be smaller than that, but if you guys are okay with us attaching it to the actual fence, we would be fine with that.
And the lead of our division over there, as far as Cadwell and the dog park, is Roger, and he's seated over at this side of the room. So he'll be nodding or helping you out with that process when it actually takes place, because he'll know where post holes can be dug or things of that nature.
Okay.
Roger, have you any questions of them?
Who would restock that as the supplies go low?
So we figured that after doing it, that we would restock it for roughly about like a year-ish and kind of see if maybe somebody else would want to restock it after that. If that's okay. I don't know. I guess we didn't talk too much about that, April.
I figured probably until they are graduated out of high school.
Oh, okay. She figures longer. Perfect.
So they are fourth graders.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So that's what, 8 years?
It's a long-term project, girls. Any other
Do
questions?
you
for
guys
them?
have any signage that you're planning on putting on it as far as some type of first aid
So
signage or say that it was brought by you guys and whatnot, some kind of signage on the side that
So we plan on actually doing, like, obviously we're gonna have stained wood and everything. We planned on having the Girl Scout logo on it and our troop number, if you guys are okay with that. And then we did plan on having, we would like to do it green, kind of like their shirts, if you guys are okay with that color. That is kind of, because that is the #1 Girl Scout color and the clover is on their shirts. Yes, and then the troop number. And then they still would like to add a roof to it, like the ones that are for the library free book ones. We have talked about it, and with this one, we did not have enough wood to actually make the roof. So, but yeah,
How much larger is this one than the one that'll be eventually going on?
this is quite a bit, like a lot. So
Is it twice as big?
I would say twice as big as far as this part goes. Because the other thing that they said on here is that they would like to add another little small one for them to have the balls in, if that's okay with you guys. But we did not make that one because this is our main focus, is just the first aid. So I'd be like an added thing that the girls wanted to do. So, but yeah, I would say like half of that.
How soon do you plan on getting them up to the group?
The minute that you guys give us the approval, we have to get a hold of the parents and make sure that they're okay with us spending a couple weekends on building it and having all the kids put everything together. We also have to go to the store and buy the supplies. And then we did give you guys a budget sheet. That's just because the girls actually have to do their own budget for this. So that's what I gave them, girls. That is their budget sheet they had to look up everything, find out how much it was going to cost us. We had our budget at $400 to make it. We are under the budget for the most part. Depending on if we have to get the pole and everything like that, and if we have to cement it into the ground. We did not add that in, and don't really know how much cement and all that would cost, but on there you also have their shingles. The girls want to kind of put some shingles on the roof to make it look like a dog house. That's one of those things where I didn't know if you guys would be okay with it, because we also thought about stuff that if it falls off, then it's in the dog park. So if a shingle falls off, the dogs can eat that, and that's not necessarily the best. Trying to think of what else. Anything I didn't mention, April? She asked me
Roger.
about the blankets. She wanted to know if we were still putting blankets in there, and I was like,
That's a really cozy idea. but I
Yes.
just don't know how well they'd last out there.
yep. And that's what we kind of,
I feel like
I think they'd turn into play toys and dogs would rip them apart.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking.
Or they'd disappear if they're in good condition, is
Yes.
correct.
Roger, are you okay with it being on the fence if that's the best?
Is there a top rail on the fence?
There is a top rail. I would personally rather it be on a post.
okay.
But we could talk more about that.
And he can determine if those are going to be concreted in or just bored down 3 to 4
Yes.
feet and just filled in with dirt.
Yes. And then one thing I did want to ask you guys is since we did see the lady on Tuesday at our meeting about first aid, she did say that she recommends us putting like a tourniquet in there or something like that, just in case, because that would be like a good first aid thing to have in there, just a generic one. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
We're not really any of us first aid people, so we're going to go with whatever judgment
Okay,
you make on that.
that's one thing I did not bring. I
Okay.
don't. We have purchased it.
Obviously, we've all gone through CPR and first
Yes,
aid.
yes. Do you guys have any more questions?
Who would be maintaining the box itself?
It would be this troop and me and April.
Okay.
And these girls have been, some of these girls have been with the troop since they have been in kindergarten and kindergarten, first grade, yes.
So they were decent.
So they've been in it and kind of really dedicated. So
They've been thinking about this one a long time then.
we've been this project, just getting the information and getting it set up. We meet twice a month roughly. And this project we started working on in October, and we have finally got, plus we have Girl Scout cookie season, so that kind of had to take a little priority during this time, but yeah.
So, I'm April. They're doing this project for, as juniors, they could do a bronze award. And when they started doing the Create and Innovate, they came up with this idea. It's like, hey, you guys are juniors. It's your first year. So juniors is 4th and 5th grade. And that's when they can go for this bronze award. And I was like, hey, you want to do this for a bronze award? So they were like, yeah. And I thought this was a great idea. I brought it up to all the other troop leaders at our service unit meeting, and they all agreed this would be an excellent bronze award. So this is what this is for.
Any further discussion needed?
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
It's going to happen, ladies.
Good job, girls.
All right, girls.
Nice job.
They're doing very well.
Good job, girls.
Thank you.
Oh, good job, girls. You want to grab the box? Yeah, I'll grab the box.
You want to go back or do you want to go to tennis?
Thank you.
You want to go to tennis?
I can try opening up those documents. Thank you again. It went right to the document and opened it. So this is campground bills. As you can see, there's not a whole lot for bills out there this time of the year. That's computer software.
So just give an update, Kevin, on the shelter. The shelter was turned down as far as city council budgeting. Is that correct?
He went to another rebid.
Are we talking about the storm shelter at
yeah.
the campground?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It came in too high. It was still over $200,000 over budget. Their intention is to go back to another rebid. They're going to do some changes to the plans. It was all going to be precast concrete panels that would go in there, and they believe they can save money by pouring it on site, pouring the walls. But there would need to be a precast roof that would be brought in. Yet 2 panels to make it of course, a peak. The inside walls, that's yet to be determined if those are going to be block or if they'll be poured as well. But hopefully the next bid will come in closer to what the council would accept, and we go from there. Oh, because you were looking at the public shelter here, the tornado shelter. That's campground bills, park and rec bills. Nothing stood out to us as being glaringly large or out of place this month. This was a rec center recirculating pump for the pool. And if I say something out of place, guys, correct me.
That was a hot tub.
Hot tub.
Yeah,
I
that
knew it
was
had to do with pool.
Yeah, and that was the acid system that we added. So a portion of it was a recirculating pump.
Our group here has to do with the design of the roof over at the arena. You're seeing the replacement tennis nets. These are in 3 separate printing because there's 2 sessions of bills that go through both council meetings that are in the month previous, as well as credit card bill. That's why you see separate tallies and totals within this. Steve's got what I had 3 weeks ago. Arena condenser fan. Lighting in the north rink. Utility bills. Fuel. Christmas lights. We got billed on that separately this year. Is that similar that we had gotten? It has been metered, not been metered in the past, but this year it's been calculated as metered. They did calculations based upon the wattage of each of those fixtures on the ones that are not metered on those poles, and that's the number they came up with. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Different insurances across the department. Rev and expense campground. We're on the rev side now. I better back off to 100%. Are the printouts more visible than they were the previous months?
Yeah.
Good to hear it. Campground fees year to date in comparison to last year. I had one campsite offline, that being site number 50, because we didn't know whether or not we were going to be having a storm shelter. That's now back online as of this week. It was on a maintenance hold because it will be at least fall before we would have a storm shelter there.
That your campground host already hired.
That Steve does. We've got one couple returning and another one's a new couple coming in. It just doesn't work to contain it all on there unless I go small. Salaries are less than last year, saying how can that be? We've got new people in old positions, and new people are making less than what former people were making. Notice they haven't started taking revenue for the outdoor pool yet. Rec center, current year to date compared to last year. Not quite there yet. Thomas, you want to talk a little bit about Silver Sneakers and similar?
Yeah, so there's a couple different reasons why that number's a little bit behind. The first one is we had 2 days from February that actually ended up in March because we had that swim meet that weekend and Chris was off, so we actually didn't do our deposits until after the weekend. So March is going to make up for that. We actually ended up taking in just in checks over $8,000 the next day that Friday before the following week. Those numbers I would anticipate in March even out, and we should be back ahead. There's another thing too. So Silver Sneakers, Wellmark dropped Silver Sneakers. We lost over 100 members that were getting free memberships through their Medicare supplement, and the majority of them have tried to find something else, but the program doesn't exist anymore. And we were making well over a couple $1,000s a month just in that specific program, and that was a nationwide thing we couldn't do anything about. So we've pivoted and tried to get creative with some of our Department of Health programming to provide, discounted memberships for those seniors if they qualify for our wellness programming, and tried to get them signed up for our auto checking memberships because the senior rate is quite a bit of a discount off the adult rate too. But there's a lot of them on fixed incomes, and free was the only way that they were going to come through the door. Those programs pay us on the back end of that because it's a third party company that will actually pay per scan. So we were making money from the third party company based on usage. But it's gone for this year. We don't know what's going to happen in the future.
As an added incentive, we do offer free fitness classes at the rec center. So if they've already got a membership or paid a day pass, they can come in and go to fitness classes. They aren't paying additional for that. Personal training would be additional.
Yep.
Anything you want to point out in that, Thomas? As far as rec and aquatics?
No, unless there's questions.
Is like the swim club, do they pay, like for revenue, do they pay on a monthly basis? Like, is that, or that?
So that's not part of the rec center. They have their own individual line on there. It says swim other sales. That's actually the swim club rental. And that's a whole nother thing. Those both came in late. So we're still waiting on the state swim meet check. And we just got the February check here a couple days ago. And that's pretty normal. We bill them on the 15th of the current month. And then it's usually within the first week of the next month that we end up getting that. And the only time we become real sticklers on that is December. We try and get them to get it before the 31st, so we can get it in for revenue.
And that line item is the same, whether it's outdoor pool or indoor.
So the outdoor aquatic, so their rental for the outdoor aquatic still goes into rec center pool. So the swimming pool up there, swimming pool other sales is the concession stand. Sorry about that. The rec center pool is where the actual rental for Dakota Riptide comes in, and that'll go in that line regardless of if it's out the outdoor pool or the
Oh,
indoor
okay.
pool. Yep.
That's a run through of campground and park and rec bills and rev and expense.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial reports. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Looks like we might be going on to oral reports or just kind of a quick overview. Oh, there it comes up. Thomas, anything you want to highlight over the things you had written here or outside of this?
Only if there's questions.
Roger, anything?
Just if there's questions, everything's pretty much on there.
They did a very nice job of hosting the Girls State Championship Hockey Tournament this last weekend. And the weekend prior, the rec center did an awesome job at hosting the swim meet.
So-
the Rockets game has also been awesome.
Glad to hear it. Sunday nights, once a month.
So ice on both sides will come out after that Lucky Devils tournament or not?
It'll come out both sides after the 19th as of right now.
So that's a week later, correct?
A week after that tournament.
Yep.
As far as mine, it kind of goes in conjunction with what the guys are saying. One thing I want to note that on the recent trail map that we distributed, the updated trail map, as I was a third of the way completing a grant application toward hopefully replacing a restroom over at next to Drake Field. That's what the intention is to put the application toward that. That doesn't mean they're going to fund it. It just means that's what I'm applying. I was talking about how the trails intertwine there and how the new trail coming from all the way from National Guard Road goes all the way to Minnesota right now, and it's going to continue by 2027 all the way down to the corner of Cadwell. And then I got thinking about how can they get to the restroom from that point. There's going to be another loop going south where they're putting in the work on 13th Avenue. It's going to go from the side by the bypass and cut through it and make it all the way over there, but that's still a long way to get to the restrooms. So I was discussing, and Terry said maybe we need another one going from 13th between fields B and C. That's a possibility that it would have to be budgeted. But the other thing we talked about, what I noticed was missing on the map was we don't have little restroom symbols on there. So even if we get a new restroom there, we're not really advertising that we've got facilities, even all the way around the lake. We're not noting where the restrooms are. So if a family's planning a bike trip and Bryce didn't know the lake and he's going to take his second grader with him or kindergarten or whatever you've got, you want to know what was important stop. So that's something we're going to add when we do the next revision of the bike trail map. Questions? This stuff is slow tonight. feel like we're on Jeopardy, but we don't have the background music playing.
Those rescue gardens, I and B and C have been there for a long time.
Yeah.
Back in my late 60s and 70s.
It's been a while since when did they kind of upgraded them or they fixed some things in them. I can't remember. It's been a long time though since they even did that. Remember Steve? I don't know. That's been
So ownership of the land came to the city, I found on deed in 1969. So I imagine restrooms were built at some point after that. And be it in the mid 70s or late 70s, those restrooms appear to be to that ballpark. So Exchange Club has proposed that they would like to build a structure south of the stadium. And if you were to look at, let's say the stadium's over here, and this is 13th Avenue, this is their current block concession stand. They would like to build something with posts going down into the asphalt here and going here. This is a total of 60 feet long. Their cost is really not relevant to us unless they have some overrun. They might come and ask, but they know that it's their project. We have proposed a couple of different things. One would be moving this fence further toward the south, further toward 13th Avenue, just a portion of the way. We can't go all the way to the sidewalk because you're then into the right of way. And it comes to about 4 feet from the sidewalk is how far we could go, which is approximately 6 feet. They wanted to build this structure as such to where they could get a trailer outside of around here because the roof wouldn't be high enough to get the trailer underneath it. So was that a cooking trailer, a barbecuing trailer, Roger? Beer cooler. Of course, it's essential to have that inside the fence.
well. They normally back that. That normally is backed up almost all the way to the brick building. Normally.
Right, but if they build this structure, that trailer is so tall that it wouldn't fit underneath this building that they're proposing. So we've been discussing back and forth on how to make this work the best way. One of the things we've talked about is a different type of structure, be it much like the vinyl or fabric sunshades that are over at Cadwell and the softball complexes, just something of that nature that's up temporarily for a couple of weeks a year. They were concerned about, well, how do we get that up? We would assist with that with a bucket truck in terms of going, it'll be mounted on 6 poles. I'll show you that, what it looks like here a little bit later. We've also discussed the possibility of moving this to the other side of the block building, but there is a structure over here that was donated by a family that kind of takes that out of the works in terms of being able to build up close to it, because it's something they donated, so it shouldn't be commandeered by anybody else for their purposes. It could be separate from that and be a little ways further from it, but it does get kind of choppy then with traffic flow because it's not right next to the block structure. The other thing we talked about was them possibly going higher with their roof line, which would allow them to get the trailer underneath, and we would move the fence back as far as 6 feet for them to be able to get underneath it. So right now they're all possibilities. I'll move on to that other document that I got from Terry earlier this year. Earlier today. That was earlier this year. That would be a price tag that would be at their expense. He was concerned it would be Exchange Club was concerned it would be rather expensive. That's actually less than the hard shell one that they're proposing. But again, it would involve putting that shade structure up. The poles would mount on anchors on the ground. There would be concrete into the ground beneath the surface, and they would go within sleeves that would mount within those holes. 6 of those on temporary poles that are holding up the piece that's above that. So that fabric, again, would be approximately 60 by 30, and it could hold all of what's above there as far as the shade.
So that's one shade structure.
Correct. Ours over at Cadwell are more expensive than that because they're permanently mounted structures that hold that up.
Would that stick out further towards than their wooden structure?
Not
As
if they
far
got
as-
high enough, but the limitation with this is that their cooking surface, their grill, they would want covered. So they couldn't put that underneath this. The company said, no, we'd have to have it at least, I believe the number was 18 feet above for it not to be threat of getting burned up. So they need to build a hard shelled lean-to outside the fence or just bump it out there in order to have the trailer in. But in order to get that trailer in, you got to make it long enough for a truck to be able to back around and get in there as well. So either way, you're moving the fence, a section that's about 60 feet long out 6 feet. Yes. Well, the sheet metal we can reuse. The posts, we would have to figure that one out. We've not got it in our budget for this year, but we can cut the nail heads off or the screw heads off to reuse the sheet metal. There would need to be a little bit more sheet metal on the east and west ends because if you bump out, you've obviously got some right angles and 6 feet going both directions on that. So 12 feet of sheet metal to work with.
This
Go ahead, Roger.
this shelter here, to answer Luke's question, would go 30 feet wide, which would be mostly the entire distance between the back of the grandstands and the fence.
Yeah. So because right now you put up that net, so if there's a ball that goes right over the top, there's people standing down there.
And if they make
This
it,
would cover most of that area if there's people there.
yes,
Whereas looking at this,
that we would still have to
that
put the
wouldn't
net.
go as far close to the grandstand, correct?
That would leave roughly between 15 and 16 feet between the grandstands and the front of their building where we would have to cover that with net.
And you still would do that.
We'd have to for safety.
Right, here's that 15-foot opening he's talking about.
Yeah, but if you did the other one, you would be able to.
The other one, there would be no permanent poles in the middle of that pathway.
Right, because they could mount that out to here if they wanted to, but there would still need to be coverage.
So it would be like arms stretched out that would be the anchor poles.
See if I
Well,
can
no,
find that.
they would be like they would be a pole just mounted to the
Or
ground.
would those other poles be all the way close to the?
They'd be to the fence and to the back of the stadium.
Okay.
The back of the grandstand. So it'd be to the sides, but they would be removable. So as soon as the tournament, like before the tournament, after the tournament, we'd still have to spend the time doing it, but we wouldn't have the permanent poles there.
And be able to.
There you go.
And be able to take them down and get them out of the weather. I mean,
Yeah, the poles and the top and everything would come down and be put away.
Yeah.
It's more labor and
What's the wind? What's the wind?
Terry Johnson was looking into it, and he says they certify it for our winds.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what the details are that he has yet. It was something that Terry was researching.
So he's showing it going all the way to the edge of the stadium on a 30 by 60 foot. Or maybe that's just simply his drawing, but
Do they have a preference? I mean, are they
whatever's going to work best for everybody. I was talking with Dan Rue again earlier this week, and he had a death in the family, so he's not been available a whole lot. Is that I expressed that Roger's concerns are they don't want he wants the passage through here to be non-restricted. I mean, right now we don't have the extra poles and bumps, and you've already got a turn. They have to back in with trucks when they store them here now, just because there's not room to turn around once you get over here. And the other is that to not look like a hodgepodge of roof lines at like a farm site where they built on a new small building every 10 years. And we need this now. We need this, and because it needs to function. And with something that's not permanent, obviously that may be in that respect the best solution, but overall, is that the best solution for everybody? We don't know. So we're still in that planning stage, yet we don't want to hold them up either. So I guess at this point, how open are you as a board, and you being very familiar with the site, Luke, what are your thoughts on as you look at this? And Danny, I don't know how much time you've spent at that stadium, but
I would say of Roger, I mean, if as far as vehicles passing through there with the temporary structure up,
he wouldn't drive through with a temporary structure up, I don't think. Would you ever?
It'd be really rare, and it would be an emergency situation.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like if they're
But it
So
could
they-
be done
okay, so
if
like
that was up.
like the emergency, like they drive the gator through there at times, and you drive other smaller vehicles through there. That wouldn't be hindered by.
No, I mean it would be. I believe the shade company said 16 foot to be safe with the grill, and if we're planning on moving the grill outside of it, obviously it would be safer, but it would just be up for the tournament. So
Yeah.
if we said 16 foot, I could get just about anything under it. And if we really had to, we could move their stuff to the side and go through there. But then after the tournament, the shade, the poles, and everything come out, and then there's no restrictions.
Right. But that's up to them if they want to invest in something like that, not knowing if it's going to last them into the future. But if it's going to be up only 2 weeks each year,
I would say it would last a really long time. If
I would like to think so.
the other concern with Roger is that they access the points along the stadium here for AgriLime and whatever else is stored in here. So if you're going in with a skid loader or whatever you're doing, and there's posts, they aren't all over the place, but there'd be a 15-foot radius where there'd be one over here, and the other ones are back approximately, I don't know if it was 16, 18, 20 feet, whatever it was, but they would be there.
Do we know if they have a preference for the more permanent structure or the...
I think they have a preference for the permanent, just because it is permanent and there's not a question about how long it's going to last.
I don't blame them. I would rather a permanent structure. I just want one that aesthetically looks good on this with the stadium and improves the stadium at the same time.
And as we talk about a higher structure, how is that going to look driving up or driving past? It'll be more multifunctional for them, but if it's exceeding the height of this roof line, when you're coming up to it, it's big. Obviously, they've got time. It has to be built before first week of August or last of July.
August, not till August. Yeah, end of the first week of August.
That ballpark.
So what action are we taking?
Your comfort level, A, with having something there on this side of the building. What is your comfort level with either of the type of structures? First of all, is it okay to have something here? And then what is your preference? And I'm hearing that it needs to be in line with what Roger's thinking.
So if we approve this motion, do we have any input on what gets put up ultimately?
That's where I'm feeling this out now to say, what are your thoughts? Because if one you don't like, that one's off the table. Or both you don't like if you don't like the idea as a whole. They're certainly hoping, they just signed into a long-term lease agreement for vending from this site for the next 10 years to be able to vend during at least the state tournament.
I think as long as you got emergency egress, there, if they have to move it toward the street to make that, like, okay, as long as you make that road green like the rest of the roads. But egress, that, because you can't see it, they will get vehicles out of there like your anchor line, or people to evacuate.
Right.
Out of that area, I think.
And since that's all ambulatory on foot, I don't see where it's going to hurt egress as far as people walking out of the stadium.
Speaking about that, how does an ambulance come in? Some sort of,
Is that normally over on the other side over here, Roger? Or has there ever been an instance where it comes in over here?
I've never seen an ambulance come in, but I would say that through there would be, otherwise it would be the corner to the east along the corner of Minnesota.
I would say if an ambulance is going to enter into the complex, it would be on the outfield,
On the north gate?
it would be on either the east gate, probably the east gate, right
Over
off
along
of
Minnesota
Minnesota.
Street.
Yeah. If they had to get inside the complex,
Right.
which wouldn't matter right there.
Right. So one of my questions was that I didn't present yet is whether or not you're okay with moving the fence. And the other is with putting some sort of a structure here.
So they're paying for everything. So if there's utilities that run in the fence to get to those buildings, then they're paying for everything that.
There should
Correct.
be no utilities here. As far as utilities that are here, what they would tap hole to put posts in, or the anchors for the soft top structure. Roger, there's a water line of some sort. But what else is there?
The only thing I know of myself is the water line.
Because that was Kit when they put the anchors in for the press box.
There's electrical behind the grandstand, like behind the press box. But as far as over there where they're building that shelter, I do not know of anything other than a pipeline through there.
I guess I would. If Roger thinks that it would permanent structure as long as it's whatever is just whatever
The
aesthetically looks like.
the problems with a permanent structure is the poles are in the middle of that pathway, so if you ever do need to get through there, you have the poles.
Right.
Obviously, the guys would have to be careful when we're pulling in and out of those doors with agri-lime and whatnot to hit those poles.
So there'll be 7 poles within the parking area or within this asphalt.
John
other
Haig
ones?
has asked that those poles by the doors are upgraded from 4x4 to I think 6x6.
Either
is
4
what
by
he
6
said.
or 6 by 6 is what was indicated.
And then I don't know how would you repave underneath that when that time comes, and and does it look appealing? Like where the roof line comes up, you can see there where it doesn't match the concession stand and stuff. Is that
Right.
is that aesthetically appealing? Is that what we want?
Their intention was to try to match this roof line going down, but as you're seeing, this goes higher. But if they moved it even higher yet, it will potentially be the bottom of this would be up over here.
The temporary one covers the entire gap, which
Yeah, that's
stops.
that's
To me, that's more aesthetically appealing to me.
What's the dimensions of this one running east, north to south, Roger?
I think it's
that about
roughly
15?
17 feet.
17 feet. Okay. And the other one? would
that's
be-
without the fence being moved, or
correct. 17 feet from fence to this edge of it.
It's not exactly because the fence line and the back of the grandstands are not exactly parallel. And when we measured it, we just measured 15 feet from the grandstands. So once it was actually built, it might be a little bit different, but they don't have the exact plans yet. I think we all agree something should be built. It's just a matter of what.
As I noted, Dan hasn't been available a whole lot this last week and a half, due to a death in the family. So not been able to discuss details a whole lot other than one phone call, a little bit via email. I don't know that we're ready to make a decision on it yet.
no.
If they get tight on time, I may send around and try to put together a brief meeting, a special meeting prior to next month. I don't foresee that because they would still have 3.5 months from next month's board meeting, 3 weeks and 7 months to put it together. They intend to do at least some of the labor themselves. The framing, I think, would have to be done by the builder they've got in mind. As far as fence, your comfort zone okay with? I'm not looking for approval on that, but as far as moving the fence, is a possibility okay with any of you or not okay?
Got a couple trees that are cut out.
Yeah, so it would potentially go like this and the one tree.
I don't think those trees are in very good condition anyway. Are they? Or not? I can't remember.
Well,
There's a couple of those
The
that
maple here is in better condition than the
the better of the two is the one Kevin just pointed out.
that's the unfortunate thing. The other piece they were hoping to work with is a door that's here. And that's why their bump out was going to cover that, and their popcorn machine is right next to this 220 outlet that sits here. Different wiring could be done. Obviously, there's an expense to that. We could poke in a different door, but that changes the flow because as you go in this door, you go around to this side, and it just doesn't flow. When we talked about possibly going out this side, they were semi-excited about that because it allows access to both of these sides when they come in. But it's tree's better than it looks there. But obviously,
I was gonna say it was worse than it looks there. Maybe not.
so it sounds like we're okay if we need to move a tree. It wouldn't just be moved, that would be removed. There's a chance that when they work on this street and right of way, that the sidewalk will disappear anyhow and have to be replaced. I don't know for certain. That's up to the contractor, and because that's not a very wide boulevard to start with. And if they remove the sidewalk, is it going to damage the tree because you're cutting in underneath here? But so it looks like we're ready to table both of these.
Do I need to make a motion to do that or not?
I think we just don't do anything with it. Or go ahead.
I'll make a motion to table it until next meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Who did the motion back on the Girl Scouts? And the second was? So now we have a Mitchell Tennis Association agreement. It would be very similar to what's been brought forward from all of the other agreements, in that it goes up by $1 per player for the year. Why theirs is at that 15, like a youth program, is that there's not as much maintenance, ongoing maintenance, like field grooming, chalking, things like that, as far as the tennis court. Ultimately, overall, yes, the expense is greater when it's got to be replaced after 30 years or however long the tennis courts have lasted. They have to be resurfaced more frequently than that. But that's what my predecessor had developed as far as a ongoing structure that'll be similar for the Pickleball Association. Anything else you want to point out on that, Roger? I mean, sorry, Steve, because they're similar, but Steve works with what's in Hitchcock, so this is a Steve.
Yeah, is this the player fee increase?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Looks like I got these last two reversed. So don't adjourn before we agree on the next board meeting date. By calendar, it falls on the second Thursday, would be April 9th. Anybody have an issue with that date? As far as you four?
I do not. Okay.
Dennis, did I hear you just say you're looking forward to leading the meetings when Luke has to be gone a little bit in the spring?
It goes pretty fast.
April 9th. April 9th at 6 o'clock. Good. All right, meeting adjourned.